Hi everyone, I'm Sherry Jo Stoll, the Manager of Community Engagement for Aurora Fire Rescue. And I'm here with Aurora's brand new Fire Chief, Chief Oughton. And we're just gonna ask a few questions, keep this interview pretty casual, and let you get to know the new Fire Chief. Thanks so much for being here and answering a few questions.
Thank you for being here too, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, so you continue to talk about people first. Can you tell me, what does that philosophy mean to you?
Well, I think, in leadership, someone has to recognize that what we do, our business, our community, is all about the people inside it. And so any leader who's going to be effective in connecting with the community, connecting with the workforce, has to understand, has to recognize that people consistently come first. I think that my background and my experiences in life, both positive and trauma, really have shaped who I am as a leader and how I value interpersonal connection, how I value the humans behind the human capital that allow us to do work and take care of our community. So when we consider organizational change or organizational progress, or even things like disciplinary actions or administrative investigations, it's critical that the leadership team recognizes that there are people behind the positions and people behind the policies. And so when I talk about people first, and they're the first part of my leadership vision, that's what I'm talking about, and that's the reasons why.
You mentioned a little bit about your history, your background. Tell us a little bit about your career history, and if you're willing to, even that vulnerability piece about your personal background.
Sure. So, I don't think you can know me as a fire chief without knowing me as a human first. I have a family. I am married. I've been married to my wife, Crystal, for 22 years, almost 23 in July. And I remember I have 3 children. My son is 20. He's getting ready to turn 21, and he plays baseball at Chowan University in North Carolina. His name is Landon. My middle daughter would be 19 this year, Grace Lindsay, and she passed away from cancer at age 3. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes. And then my youngest daughter, Lily, is 13, going on 25, and anybody who has a 13-year-old daughter will know what I'm talking about. And she is getting ready to go into high school. And so moving out here, she'll be starting high school, 9th grade at Cherokee Trail High School. So my family is my legacy. They're my everything. And so they're a big part of my career and my fire service family. But, the leadership lessons that my son taught me, raising him, the leadership lessons that I was taught during my daughter Grace's illness, and the way that the fire department supported me and my family, and really the nation's fire service that supported me and my family when we were going through that really challenging time, shaped who I am and how I view interactions between an employer and an employee, and how important the fire service family, or the concept of a fire service family, is to me personally. So that really weighs heavily on who I am as a leader and how I manage the people in this AFR family. So as fire service career, I've been in EMS since 1992. I was a volunteer at the Virginia Tech Rescue Squad. I liked the lights and sirens much more than I liked engineering. And so that was really the kickoff of the path to caring for people. I went from there into the military. I was a Navy corpsman attached to the Marines. I went to boot camp in 1993 and came out and went into the reserves in summer of '94, which enhanced my desire to really care for people. I started volunteering in a fire department, a split combination system, volunteer and career, working side by side with the career staff there. Went through Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, and was attending George Washington University, which is where I got my paramedic. Once I got my paramedic in 1996, I started with my career journey with a small fire department that's a bedroom community of Washington, D.C., and quickly realized that I wanted more opportunities for advancement, a more diverse community to serve. And so I went to work for Henrico County, just outside of Richmond, Virginia, in 1999. There I went all the way from the recruit academy through every rank in that department, and it culminated with my appointment as fire chief in acting in 2018, officially in 2019, and I retired from there shortly before coming here. So it's been a heck of a journey. It's flown by, but I'm really, really happy that I landed here with what I've already seen is a fire department with a fantastic fire suppression culture and EMS culture and really community relationships. So I'm super stoked about that. The cool thing about the two departments that really translates well is that Henrico was a population of 335,000, really diverse community, diverse risks throughout the community. And there are so many parallels to the city of Aurora that I get a strong sense that I'll be able to hit the ground running and really make an impact for our workforce and our community relatively quickly.
And you've already been out. So you've been to the training center, you've visited the warehouse, you've been out at some stations. What have you encountered so far?
So I've been to several stations. I appreciate the invitations for dinner. I've got 2 this week. I had a couple last week, and then the family night at Capstick. I've been to 1s, 3s, 5s, 8s, 13s, and 7s. And the conversations have been authentic. The feedback has been fantastic because it's really helped me figure out some themes within the organization that I've already started discussing with the executive staff. And it's shown me a really strong culture of camaraderie within the stations, a really aggressive firefighting culture, which I appreciate being allowed to be a part of, and also a real commitment to quality, high quality emergency medical services and community connections. So with a culture like that, I can't fail. It's already here. It's strong, it's positive, and I just appreciate being allowed to be part of that.
We know you're a busy guy, so I don't want to keep you too long, but you were kind enough to share some of your high-level expectations with the executive staff when you met with us last week. Could you share some of your expectations, just your general, what do you expect of Aurora Fire Rescue members?
Sure. I think that adhering strongly to the core 4 values, the community is why we're here, right? So let me first say that everybody within Aurora Fire Rescue should have a very sharp focus on the community that trusts us to care for them. So that's paramount. We want to support the workforce, and we want to make sure that our stations and our apparatus and our pay and our benefits, our training, all the things that we do to support our workforce is second to none. All of it has to be in support of that service delivery model, that commitment to the community, a community that gifts us trust. And so that takes communication, it takes professionalism, it takes empathy, it takes humility. And I think a lot of those attributes, whether they're in leadership or in followership or just in service of other humans, are critical components of an agency that's going to retain that or maintain that really, really tight bond with the community. And it takes a lot of work. You know, there are some times that we're just kind of on, and I'm hearing the call volume, right, is pretty intense here. And so I know at the 20th call at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're tired and you're stressed, but it's probably the first call for that person who's accessing the 911 system. And so being the best you that you can be, being the best representative and ambassador of AFR is really critically important. And maintaining that professionalism, that customer service is going to be crucial. And I think if we do that one interaction at a time, if we're intentional about it, whether it's the fire chief talking to you or the fire chief visiting a station or a commander interacting in some formal or informal capacity, or captains and lieutenants and battalion chiefs interacting with each other in the stations and in the battalion, it's important to remember that we lead with respect, we lead with integrity, we lead with professionalism and good customer service, internal and external. And I am a firm believer in empathy and humility as well. And so we owe that at all levels. There is no There is no, rank does not have its privilege to treat people differently. And that's my expectation of leadership at all levels. It's the expectation of myself. And if you ever see, if folks in the field ever see anything different than that, then they should hold me accountable as well.
Thank you so much for spending time. I know that everyone will appreciate hearing directly from you. Thanks, Chief.
It's later than I would have liked, but this is a critical piece of who I am and what I would like to do with this family, this new department. And so hopefully we'll get more opportunities to have this kind of interaction and share information and vision and the future together. So thank you.
Absolutely.